One headline that really caught my eye was that the U.S. Treasury Department sees $329 billion of net borrowing from July through September versus the prior estimate of $273 billion. So substantially higher amounts that they have been borrowing. What stood out to you here?
Yeah, well, that's the big story. So the question now becomes is that how does the Treasury Department fund this? I mean, this is because we've had tax cuts and additional things that cost money, right? So we've had additional spending as well. So the question is, what will the Treasury Department do on Wednesday morning when they tell us exactly how much they're going to issue in notes and bonds? So they're going to have to keep on increasing. So will they keep on doing it in the front end in 2-year notes and T-bills? And that's been a little problematic at times. Or will they just go out and issue more along the entire yield curve?
Ira, I'm glad that you mentioned that it's been a little bit problematic today. There were 3-month T-bills issued at the highest yield since 2008, with yields rising to 2% for the first time since then. Does this indicate that there is some indigestion here, some pushback from investors saying we can't take more short-term issuance without being paid a lot more?
Well, this morning's issuance, I think, was partly because people are expecting another interest rate hike at some point over the next 3 months, probably in September. So therefore, you have to have higher yields just to make for that. But when you look at what happened with 3-year notes a couple of weeks ago, those had pretty weak bid to cover. So the amount of tenders that investors put in for was much lower than people had expected, and certainly broke the trend that you've had of pretty good auctions. T-bills are a different story. Some weeks there's a lot of fluctuation in T-bill demand, so I wouldn't take anything away from today's number, but look at what the Treasury does this week, and then look again at 3-year notes next week when they're issued on Tuesday, because that really, I think, might be a canary in the coal mine if investors are going to balk at additional Treasury issuance.